We're at about 17,000 feet at this point, negative 38 degrees, up to 72 mile an hour wind gusts. So we're talking conditions that will kill you. Thousands and thousands of protesters are in the street, and the burn of pepper spray just fills my face.
My eyes, my lungs, my lips, everything hurts.
We came here to break a world record, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I mean, everyone on the team knows it's a fucking kamikaze mission.
I'm Chase Boehringer, and I just rode a motorcycle up the world's highest volcano in Chile, Ojos del Salado. It was ridiculous, insane, everything went wrong, and at the end of the day, we made it. The challenges that we faced were immense, from the weather to the permits to the bike itself to having to rent a bike to flying in mechanics to the mental challenges of day after day, waking up in the freezing cold and the wind, not knowing if you're gonna make it. It was incredibly powerful, and I'm excited to tell the story. So, here we go. So the day that I left for Chile, I found out that I didn't have a permit that I needed. I had a permit, but not the one that I actually needed to go on the mountain. I needed two. So when I got to Chile, after 5 months of preparation, from raising money, finding sponsors, getting a dirt bike, getting the guide, all the research that goes into it, I was told that it might not work. I got all the way there, and I might not be able to even attempt this record. In Copiapó, where the streets are on fire, and as I'm in a car driving through, and the burn of pepper spray just fills my face because it's just in the air naturally from the fight that just happened. You know, every night, there are thousands and thousands of protesters are in the streets chanting and fighting with riot police, and it's a very intense feeling. It puts you on the edge of your seat. Even on top of the challenges that we were already facing, another challenge was now thousands of people trying to break into the office that we needed a permit from. We gotta get out of here, this is dangerous. There's people trying to break in the windows. One of the lawyers, won't say who, but someone in the office signed and forged the signature of the Minister of the Environment of Chile to have me get this form so we can get the heck out of there. And we got the form, I was like, print it out right now, printed it out, and we took out the back door.
All right, this is day 0. I'm here at Carmona Motors. This is a Suzuki dealership here in Copiapó, the tiny town right at the base of Ojos del Salado in the Atacama Desert. So let's go pick up that RMZ 450. All right, we are in the back of the mechanic shop, seeing this RMZ 450 for the first time. Oh, baby.
So I had everything that I needed. I had my motorcycle, I had my guides, I had my permits, everything was ready. We take off, we acclimatize, going up to our base camp around 15,000 feet, and I'm so excited. We have everything that we need. We finally have these permits, we finally are on the mountain. I'm looking at the volcano. I'm at the base.
I am up to 4,500 meters. And remember, I'm going up to 6,750 total, so I can finally see Ojos del Salado, which is an amazing feeling. I feel like a kid on Christmas, and at the same time, we got a major, major problem, challenge. The motorcycle is not running. We put the new ECU in, which is what tells it how much fuel to give, which is really important up at altitude because there's less oxygen. And it just will not start. I'm kind of in it, you know, because this is just happening right now. And at the same time, I still have hope. I still have faith. There's still a week left, but we're in Chile, in the middle of nowhere, and it's not like we could just get another ECU. So challenges are here. I'm facing them head on. That's one thing about taking on a massive challenge where there's a million different things that can go wrong. Sometimes they do, and it's up to me to figure it out. Luckily, I got a good team. So I'll end with a great shot of Ojos del Salado, that big one. I'll be right up there once we get this situation figured out.
So I go, all right, we need a new bike. And I rent a Kawasaki 450, and it was the only option that we had. We're in a small mining town of Chile. We fly in, this famous mechanic who has the interface, the computer system, to adjust this ECU. And we fly him all the way from 0 altitude to 15,000 feet. We give him oxygen so he can survive. And he's just getting there and he has his interface and we're all excited. We got a great bike. We have one of the best mechanics in South America. We have everything that we need and we're finally ready to take on the challenge. And we start heading up and the bike starts running like shit. And we knew that it was going to. That's why we had a mechanic. He was going to adjust it, no problem. Except there was a problem. There was a sensor on the bike and the sensor said, nope, there is no way that we're going to allow you to take off this much fuel. You're going to burn up the pistons. You're screwed. No go. As he told me that the motorcycle wasn't going to make it, and now I'm up on a volcano with 2 motorcycles that don't work, I was kind of crushed. I was pissed. I went off to the side and I cussed at my helmet for a while. And I kind of allowed that feeling of failure to take over. You know, 5 months of my life, all these people believing in me, these companies sponsoring, all this time, we're up on this mountain and I'm at 17,000 feet, far from my record. And it looks like we're not gonna make it. And it was in that moment that anger of not wanting to fail, resourcefulness came in. And I say, okay, we're going old school. Who's got a zip tie? They say, okay, here's a zip tie. And I zip tie off the fuel lines to only allow a certain amount of fuel to get into that bike. And I say, all right, this is our worst case scenario. This is really crude and old school, but at the same time, if the computer won't do it, a zip tie will. It's kind of the old duct tape and WD-40 style. So it works. You know, we're cutting off the fuel, the bike runs, and we're going up some hill climbs, and I realized that these technical hill climbs with super loose sand and all these rocks it's too intense, and I don't have enough fuel going into the bike to hit the gas and make it up. So the bike is just barely crawling along these rocks and this like really deep sand, and there's no way I can make it up. So the bike would stop halfway up a hill and I'd be exhausted after hours and hours of riding at this incredibly high altitude above 18,000 feet.
The bike definitely runs worse with the zip ties, but I don't know if that's a good thing or not once we get up to altitude.
We say, okay, this just isn't going to work. I finally conceded and said, our bikes will not make it to the altitude that we needed to go to in order to break the world record for the highest altitude achieved by motorcycle overall. So I say, okay, we came here to break a world record. We're going to break a world record. So we're going to take the motorcycle back to camp. We're going to take off the custom tires, the coolant, the fuel, everything that we put in special. We're going to put everything back to stock, including the stock ECU. And we're going to take that to the highest altitude anyone has ever taken it to. So we took that bike back to camp, made it stock, started a ride up. At this point, it was a 13-hour day of riding. I'm exhausted. The weather is destroying me and my team. It's so cold. We take that bike up over 19,000 feet, and it's just lugging. It's like a car running out of gas. It's trying to make it up. I'm revving it up with the clutch in just to get another foot. But it is barely moving forward, and I am barely moving forward.
My team, you know, we all thought we could make it this morning, and now looking at our situation with the motorcycle and this insane terrain that we're dealing with up around 20,000 feet, with our situation now, I think it's an impossibility. Plus we got a little Satan's version of a babbling brook. Look at those spikes coming up with the water going through. So here I am, the most beautiful view in the world, 20,000 feet, and feeling like a failure again.
It may not seem as ridiculous when you're looking at it from the comfort of your couch, but when you're at 19,000 feet and you can hardly breathe and you've already been on a motorcycle for 13 hours and your arms are jelly and your legs are burning from standing on that motorcycle, trying to make it up with 38% of the oxygen that you normally have. I will tell you from firsthand experience, it's incredibly challenging, especially with a bike that's hardly running. So understanding that was brutal when I'm already exhausted. Now the conditions are so brutal and my lungs are just messed up. My body is telling me, get the hell off this mountain.
The good news is that I just broke a world record. Woo, woo, woo. The bad news is it's not the record that I applied for. I've put so much of my heart and my soul into this. If you've been following along, you know I have. I just gotta let go of this is what success looks like. This is what a successful expedition looks like. It's getting to this exact number with this exact motorcycle. Everything went wrong, and you know what? In the end, I took a bike way higher than anyone has ever done before, way higher than anyone could ever think would be done before. Totally fucking stock. So you know what? I'm gonna take in my moment of grace. I'm gonna be proud of where I am now. I broke a goddamn world record. All right? That's what I came here for. And there was so much I didn't even know I came here for that I got.
We're up at altitude, we're above 19,000 feet, about 19,300 feet. I look over and I see that there's a massive storm cloud coming, a massive snowstorm. You could see it, it filled the entire sky. And me and my team were all looking at this like, oh shit, we gotta get off this mountain. I was just reading Into Thin Air, where they were on the top of Everest looking over and they saw a snowstorm and they thought it'd just be okay, but it wasn't. And I was thinking the exact same thing was about to happen to us. So at the end of the day, we made it to 5,890 meters, 19,335 feet. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my team. We didn't make it to our original goal of the overall record of the highest altitude achieved by motorcycle. However, we went higher than anyone has ever gone with a stock motorcycle. I pushed that thing and I pushed myself higher and farther than anybody else in the world. So at the end of the day, I'm at peace with it. At the end of the day, we set a world record and it was hard as hell. Really, really hard, but that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it exceptional. And I'm not special. I didn't have the money for this. I didn't have the time for this. I'm not an exceptional motorcycle rider, but I wrote it down, I made a plan, and I did it. And that's my message to you, is there's plenty more altitude to get. Go take your version of whatever that motorcycle up the volcano is, write it down, make a plan and do it.